Okay, so have you ever had one of those weeks, where you feel like a total social superstar? You're hitting trivia night, booking dinners, you're just buzzing with energy from every invite. And then maybe the very next week, bam. The thought of even like small talk makes you want to cancel everything, maybe even fantasize about moving somewhere remote.
Yeah.
If that swing, that huge shift in your social energy leaves you feeling kind of guilty or confused, maybe like something's wrong with you, well, we've got some really good news from the sources we looked at. You are absolutely not broken. You are, it turns out, probably just running on a very predictable cycle. So today, we're doing a deep dive into this idea of friendship seasons. Our mission here is to unpack the science behind why your social needs naturally ebb and flow, often in these, well, predictable ways. And maybe more importantly, how you can stop kind of fighting against these rhythms and actually start working with them.
And what's really fascinating, right, is that this isn't just about your mood fluctuating. There's real science here, a psychological basis for it. Research from places like Cambridge University, it shows that big life transitions, good or bad, doesn't matter. They naturally trigger these shifts. Why? Because they mess with our fundamental sense of social identity.
Or identity, how we see ourselves in groups.
Exactly. When our usual networks get disrupted, maybe by a move, a new job, even a relationship change, the brain has to adapt. It has to figure things out again. Dr. Tegan Cruey's work, for instance, highlights how loneliness often spikes when we hit periods of isolation that interfere with those connections we rely on. So it makes sense that your social appetite, your energy for connecting, is going to change dramatically while your brain tries to find its footing, essentially rewire itself.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. And to make this whole idea less abstract, I really liked how the sources use Charlotte, North Carolina, with its distinct rhythms, like the crazy energy of spring festival season and that brutal August heat driving everyone inside, the quiet winter days. It's actually a perfect metaphor for these internal friendship seasons.
It really is a very tangible way to think about it.
Okay, so let's break down this cycle. Our sources lay out 4 key phases. Think spring, summer, fall, and winter. Each one has its own distinct energy, its own needs, and even different brain chemistry going on.
Let's start with that initial burst.
Right, spring, the expansion season.
Yeah. So this is that phase where you feel like your energy is just boundless, right? You're saying yes to everything, networking things, trivia night, your coworker's party, the new hiking group.
You just want to meet everyone.
Exactly. And there's a reason for that. Your dopamine system is highly activated. Dopamine loves novelty. It loves social rewards. So your brain is basically pushing you to build new connections, explore different groups, find your new tribe, perhaps.
And thinking about Charlotte again, you can totally see the triggers, right? Like maybe you've just moved to a booming area like South End, or started a cool new job uptown.
Or even just the weather. That gorgeous Carolina spring kicks in, festival season starts. There's just this external energy pulling you out.
It's all about variety seeking. Okay, but like you said, that can't last forever. That high energy phase naturally flows into the next one.
Which is summer, the maintenance season.
Right. And the vibe shifts pretty dramatically here, doesn't it? It becomes more about quality over quantity.
Totally. So instead of chasing 5 different meetups a week, you're maybe focusing on deepening the bonds you've already made. You're hosting the game nights, the potlucks, investing in your established crew.
Quality time.
Exactly. And the brain chemistry shifts too. The focus moves away from that dopamine hit of novelty towards strengthening the connections you already have. Oxytocin, that's the bonding hormone, becomes way more important.
Ah, okay. So you stop craving constant newness and start wanting depth. Consistency.
Precisely. This is often when people feel like they're really putting down roots. Maybe settling into a routine in a neighborhood like Plaza Midwood or Myers Park, or perhaps a new relationship is getting more serious. Building that foundation.
Okay, summer sounds pretty good. But now we get to the part where, honestly, a lot of the guilt seems to creep in for people.
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Fall. The contraction season.
Yeah. Suddenly those invites that maybe sounded fun a month ago, they just feel draining. You start saying no more often, maybe even to things you usually like, and you feel bad about it.
This is such a critical phase, and it's so often misunderstood. If we link it back to the psychology, basically your nervous system might just be overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed by social stuff.
Yeah. Situations that used to feel rewarding might actually start triggering a bit of a stress response instead. Your body isn't rejecting your friends. It's signaling a need for restoration, for a break. And the sources point out this often lines up with external pressures too, doesn't it? Like high stress times at work, maybe busy season in banking, or around NASCAR events in Charlotte.
Or even just the days getting shorter, that seasonal shift.
Exactly. Seasonal affective disorder or just general post-pandemic social fatigue for some. Lots of triggers. Your body is just demanding downtime.
Okay, but here's a key question then. If your nervous system is overwhelmed, how do you know it's just a temporary season and not a sign that, I don't know, the friendships themselves aren't right anymore or that something deeper is wrong?
That's a really important distinction to make, and the answer often lies in the next phase the sources describe.
Okay.
Winter, the renewal season. This phase is more about intentional solitude, and the sources are really careful here. It's about being alone, but not feeling lonely. It's restorative.
So not depression, it's active recharging.
Exactly. It's reflection, it's processing, it's preparation. If those friendships are solid, this period of quiet actually lets you consolidate why you value them. You recharge so you can show up better later.
And what's happening in the brain during this winter?
Well, your default mode network tends to be more active. That's the brain system that hums along when we're resting, daydreaming. It's busy consolidating memories, making sense of things, processing transitions, basically clearing the decks and gathering energy for the next cycle, the next spring expansion.
Okay, seeing it as a cycle expansion, maintenance, contraction, renewal, that makes it feel much more manageable. Less like a personal failing.
And those external Charlotte factors really drive it home.
Right, like that festival flux you mentioned.
Yeah. Think about it. The city's calendar basically creates this predictable wave. You've got, 40-plus festivals between March and May. Everyone's energy naturally ramps up. It's an external push towards expansion.
But then August hits, that heat and humidity.
Ugh, exactly. It practically forces a contraction. Everyone retreats indoors. The whole community rhythm shifts, whether you plan it or not.
That's such a great example. And it's not just festivals or weather, right? The sources also talk about career and neighborhood shifts.
Oh, absolutely. Moving, say, from the artsy, maybe more nocturnal vibe of Noda to the more family-oriented structure of Myers Park. That's not just changing your address.
Or switching careers, like from traditional banking to the craziness of fintech.
Right. Those are huge social identity shifts. They demand a different version of you, different connections. It almost forces you into a new friendship season as you figure out where you fit now.
So recognizing these external cues, the seasons, the festivals, the big life changes can help us take our internal shifts less personally.
I think so. It helps you see it's not just you, it's part of a larger pattern. The goal isn't constant peak social energy. That's impossible. The goal is to sort of learn to surf the waves, honor the ebb and the flow.
Okay, so let's talk practical strategies then, especially for navigating that fall, that contraction season, because that seems to be where the most guilt lives. How do you handle needing space without wrecking good friendships?
Yeah, this is key. The main thing is not ghosting. That just creates anxiety and misunderstanding.
Right. We've all stared at that party invite thinking, ugh, I just cannot. But ignoring it feels awful too.
Exactly. So the strategy boils down to a few things. First, prioritize minimal maintenance. Focus your limited energy on maybe just the one or two most crucial relationships. Let the others gently fade back for a bit.
Okay, minimal maintenance.
Second, use that alone time productively for reflection, like we talked about in the winter phase. Recharge intentionally. And third, the absolute most important part, clear, kind communication.
The communication piece. How do you do that without sounding like you're blowing someone off?
Well, the sources offered a really useful technique, almost like a script. The key is to take the personal rejection out of it. You have to be proactive.
Okay, give us the script.
It's something like this, for a close friend. Hey, I wanted to let you know I'm going through a bit of a quieter social phase right now. It's 100% about me needing some solo time and energy restoration. It is absolutely not about you or us. Can we maybe just check in via text for a little while or perhaps plan something definite for next month?
Oh, I like that. It's honest, it sets a boundary, but it also reassures the friend and keeps the connection open for later.
Exactly. It honors the friendship while protecting your own very necessary energy reserves during that contraction phase. No shame, no ghosting, just clarity.
That feels so much healthier.
Yeah.
And that contrasts really nicely with the maintenance season strategies, right, when you're in that summer phase.
Totally different approach then. When you're in summer, the DAWs are all about deepening those existing bonds. Maybe start a regular tradition, that monthly trivia team, a seasonal potluck, a regular coffee date. Consistency is key.
And the don't.
The don't in summer is probably feeling guilty about saying no to new invites or constant expansion. You're allowed to focus. You're securing your core foundation, nurturing those important oxytocin-fueled connections. Protect that core group.
It's about knowing which season you're in and acting accordingly.
Precisely. And again, you can use your environment. In Charlotte, if you're in that renewal or contraction phase, leverage those amazing green spaces, Freedom Park, the Greenway, perfect spots for that restorative solitude, low stakes recharging.
Makes sense. Use the city's rhythm to support your own.
Mm-hmm. But this brings us to a really critical point of analysis, something we have to address.
Okay.
How do we tell the difference between a normal, healthy, temporary social season and something more serious that might need professional support, like clinical depression or severe anxiety?
That is a crucial distinction.
Yeah.
Because we don't want people just dismissing genuine mental health struggles as, oh, I'm just in my winter season.
Absolutely not. The sources were pretty clear on the difference. A normal social season, even winter or fall, still involves feeling fundamentally connected to yourself, to your core values. You might be withdrawn, but you can still enjoy the solitude, or at least see its restorative purpose.
And
crucially, you usually maintain connection with at least one or two key people. Maybe it's just texting, maybe it's low-key hangouts, but there's still some connection. The feeling of needing space feels temporary, cyclical, even if you don't know exactly when it'll end.
Okay, so what are the red flags then? When should someone be concerned it's more than just a season?
The red flags for seeking support are more persistent and debilitating. Things like complete social isolation that lasts for months on end with no breaks or relief, pervasive feelings of hopelessness, worthlessness, or dread, a total inability to maintain any relationships, even the closest ones.
Or maybe a complete loss of enjoyment in things you used to love, not just social things.
Exactly. If the withdrawal is characterized by persistent low mood, hopelessness, and it's significantly impairing your ability to function day to day, that's beyond a natural season. That indicates a need for help. And resources like Mental Health America of Central Carolinas or similar organizations elsewhere are there for that reason.
Okay, that's a really vital clarification. Thank you. So, wrapping this up, the big takeaway from this deep dive, the thing that feels genuinely liberating, is that you're changing social needs. They're not a bug, they're a feature.
Mm-hmm. A feature of a healthy, adaptable human psychology.
Right. This whole cycle helps prevent burnout. It helps make sure the relationships you do invest energy in are authentic and actually serving you in that particular phase of life. It's about sustainability.
And the research backs that up. Authenticity is key. Showing up as you are, whether you're leading the charge in spring or needing quiet restoration in winter, that's what builds strong connections and strong communities, like the one maybe reflected in Charlotte's diverse energies.
Yeah, and the sources suggest something else powerful, too, that you can actually get better at predicting these shifts.
Yeah, by tracking your own patterns. Do your shifts line up with the actual seasons after big projects at work, following major life events? Once you start noticing your triggers, you can anticipate your own social climate.
okay, so that leads us perfectly into our final thought for you, something to really chew on after this. If you could know with reasonable confidence when your personal contraction season usually hits, maybe it's always after the holidays or right after that big annual work crunch, how might proactively planning for it, actually building yourself a personalized restoration toolkit and communicating your needs ahead of time, how might that fundamentally change the entire experience of that season, not just for you, but for the friends you really value too?